Welcome to the Caribbean Isles and to the beautiful Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Diverse as it is beautiful and home to an estimated 1.4 million people. Let's now meet Marlon and Santana.
Snakeskin shoes, boy.
Yeah, well, I'll try something, you know.
Yeah, it hard and snakeskin gunsack too.
Wait. Snakeskin gunsack, trying to put me in place, or is my hoster for my cane, boy? I'm to you, right?
Cane?
Well, yeah.
You can carry yourself cane?
Not that kind of cane, but there's a white cane. That is how the sea we're going.
See where you go.
Yeah, I can't see where I'm going without my cane. I'm blind him.
Wait, man, you blind? Boy, sorry to hear that, boy.
Nah, you're not to be sorry. You're not to be sorry. It's a normal way of life for me. I'm just a regular human being. I just happen to be blind. I like to dress. I like to, go on Facebook. I like to do all these things. You need differences, I'm blind?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't enjoy life the same way. I mean,
Nah. Don't say that. Look, you now come there to talk to me. When they kind of bother me from a Facebook, and they just know. I mean, I was there on Facebook. I'll be on WhatsApp. I'll be on YouTube, believe it or not. Sometimes I may want to enjoy a movie. I just enjoy movies.
movie, dog?
Yeah, it have movies for persons with visual impairment. I mean, it's called movies with audio description. You see how when you look at a television show, you'll see little words at the bottom? Right, that's for people who have hearing impairment. That is closed captioning. But for blind persons, you'll have like somebody describing what's going on in the movie. Why is the movie going on? So you and I could talk about a movie like if you and I see it.
Wow.
It even have games for blind people.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not to say it's something that's detrimental. It's not a death sentence or anything like that. It's just how you adapt it.
Some individuals have not only adapted but excelled. In 2016, the Olympic Games will be held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Trinidad and Tobago's hopeful is Carlos Green. Carlos Green is blind.
I became blind a little over 16 years ago. On diagnosis, the doctor said in about 5 years' time I can be facing the possibility of living with blindness. In reality, 4 months later, I was totally blind, devastated, lost, confused, all of the above and more. In the midst of all of that, I got myself back into the gym, and it quickly became a source of rehabilitation for me. And because of that, person started to call me strongman, and I gravitated towards powerlifting. Within a few years, I was represented Trinidad and Tobago as the lone visually impaired blind person, only to find out I was the only blind person in the world competing with sighted athletes. I did many national competition, many regional competition, breaking a lot of regional and world records along my journey. It soon became kind of bored, and I was looking for something else to do, and I was introduced to shot put. A little while after, the discus became a part of it, and in 2012 we went to the London Paralympic Games where we threw both shot put and discus. At present, I'm training to qualify to go to the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Shortly after losing sight, I was introduced to an organization called PAVI, Persons Associated with Visual Impairment, through the form of a rehabilitation field officer who came to my home and began telling me of some of the things that I can still do as a visually impaired person. Most of it sound like something out of a child's storybook. It's like a Nancy story.
PAVI, Persons Associated with Visual Impairment. Located at 54 6th Avenue and 8th Street, Barataria, Trinidad, PAVI allows Carlos and so many others like him to live life beyond being visually impaired.
PAVI was formed about 20 years ago to provide services to persons who have lost vision And really, it is to give them hope and to provide them with skills to reintegrate back into society. Generally, when a person loses vision, they tend to be seen as unable to do anything, incapacitated, and a lot of words like that. However, we know through experience and through training, people who have lost vision can regain a lot of the skills that they had before they lost vision and continue to live a normal life. This is the Hoover long cane, and it is used by the person who's visually impaired, as we say, as an extension of their hand. Just as you use your hand to identify things and to touch and to pick up information, the cane does the same thing for the person who's visually impaired. It makes an arc from the left to the right, and that goes along with the leg movement. So we're starting at the center. As the cane moves to the left, the right foot goes forward. As the cane goes to the right, the left foot moves forward. And you create a natural rhythm of movement with the legs and the cane.
I am Cyril Scott. I have been living without sight for almost 30 years now of my life. Since my early teens, I have been without sight. I am a very independent traveler. I'm able to travel and negotiate the streets of Port of Spain or any place for that matter, all on my own. So it is possible to be an independent person living without sight and being an independent traveler. I encourage all persons who have lost sight to get up, adjust to living without sight, learn your rehabilitation techniques. It is possible to live a full life without the use of sight.
You know, I met one or two blind people there, and I find they was a little rough with me. You understand? I approached them, I try to help them cross the road, I snatch the hand to pull them across, and they get an attitude and think, where's that one?
Yeah, nah. You see, what happens is that we understand that, there are people that want to help. But you see, it have a way that's how to go about doing it. Because, like, for example, if it is you think you're standing up there, you can't say anything, and somebody grabs you by your hand, you're not really thinking somebody want to help you, you're thinking that somebody want to do you something. So the best thing to do would be to walk up to the individual and ask if they need help crossing the road. Because sometimes you see a blind person standing up there, and they don't really want to cross the road, they're just waiting on a car. So if you just grab the person and pull them across the street, you just inconveniencing them, when in truth, in fact, you're supposed to ask first.
We are normal. We're going to cross the road. Don't come and meet me and take my cane from me and put it up in the air to cross me with the road. You take your cane and I cross me, but you're crossing in a 45-degree angle. When they put me on the pavement, where am I? I don't know. No? Yeah.
Kenneth Kelly, a music enthusiast who also DJs as a hobby, uses special software to navigate through his music selections.
Same normal thing that you would do home, or next DJ will do, or a man do on the radio. Same thing. One thing I cannot see to read the selection. I listen on Jaws to hear the selection coming up next. Judith by Scrunter coming next track. Alright, I load the song in the machine. Alright, and I press play. Normal thing. That's the difference or special about what I'm doing that you wouldn't do.
Meet Mikhail Trestro, assistive technology teacher and co-founder of Companions of the Transfigured Christ.
So today I'm here to share with you about assistive technology, the software and hardware that helps blind persons be more independent and even interdependent in life. It really happens in two major areas, hardware and software. In the hardware department, there are things like braille displays where you can attach to a computer or to a device and it will raise dots for you to represent in Braille what is on the screen. So you have hardware devices like that. You also have tablets for the blind, specially made with Braille screens that have come out recently for the blind. So you have hardware products like that. You also have scanners that will scan books to you, and they will read the books to you, and you can also save it in different formats for later use. So that's generally what you have in the hardware department. In the software department, there are two major things running right now, and that's the use on computers and the use on phones. With respect to the challenges that blind persons face with assistive technology, first one that comes to mind is the cost. Buying an Apple computer, buying an iPhone, or even purchasing assistive software like JAWS and stuff, expensive. I mean, you have the freer options, Android, NVDA, and so, but it's still always an issue of affordability. The second thing is, like many people, technology is a barrier. It takes a little learning curve. It takes an openness to being willing to learn something new and to stick at learning it. And even as well, acceptance, because even though like I can use many things, assistive technology, many people still don't believe that blind people can do certain things. So I think the culture as well in the blind community and outside is another challenge where it comes to really letting assistive technology work for the blind, not only at home but in places like the workplace and so.
If you employ someone who's visually impaired, because we understand how difficult it is to get another job for ourselves, it's hard to get one anyway here, you'd find a person who will work 10 times as hard and would most likely not leave your company. So you'll have a loyal worker. You'll find someone who will want to come to work early, would want to please, would want to work hard because they understand the importance of a job, because it doesn't come to us easily. So I work here at 90 for the last 14 years. They could count the times I got here late. They could count the times I slack on the job. I pride myself in working hard. My good friend will say hardly, but yes, but I work hard.
There seems to be no avenue where the visually impaired have not made inroads. 14-year veteran Kern Tyson is both broadcaster and sportscaster at 98.1 FM. He's also CEO of Sports and the Word.
I was born with a condition called keratoconus, which affects the cornea of the eye. In spite of all of that, I've been able to achieve doing CXC, A-levels, working at Isaac for the last 14 years, traveling, covering sports for the last 8. And I'm saying this to really encourage others, especially if you're visually impaired or you have a physical challenge, to not give up. There were times when I wanted to give up. There are times when I went for an interview, didn't get through, struggled, went through that time of feeling depressed. But in spite of all of that, and with the grace of God, I was able to achieve, and I still seek to achieve even more. So my encouragement is to really not give up on your dreams. Although we are physically challenged, we are blind, we have dreams, and my encouragement is to really pursue your dreams in spite of all the challenges and they say we can't do. I think my life is certainly a testament of what you can do when you put your life in God's hands. So really be encouraged and don't give up and continue to pursue your dreams.
But one more thing just before I go. The word is blind or visually impaired. I mean, what is that one?
Boy, I'm glad you asked that, because just the other day, I am almost confused. Here it is going on. Visual impairment is a wide spectrum. There are those with low vision, those that can see a little bit, those that can see a lot but not as much as a sighted person, and then there are those that are totally blind, like myself. So it's a spectrum of different things. Now the thing with we subscribe to person first language. You understand? You have to address the person first and the impairment after. So it's a person with a vision impairment. Now the thing is, I know there's a lot of things to say. You might bite your tongue or trip over your tongue with saying person vision impairment, person vision impairment. But you don't want to be subscribing to a label by saying visually impaired. I can't say that you are height impaired. You're just somebody who just happens to be short. Do you understand? So, I am totally blind. You can call me blind because I can't see anything. There's no way that you can know for yourself. So the most that you can ask is that, listen, what is the degree of your vision impairment? Are you totally blind or are you low vision? You understand? And there's nothing wrong with asking it, because you want to know. what does be kind of funny is when people say, so you're blind or you're blind? And that be kind of funny because I already don't know if it have a blinder version to blind that I'm not aware of. So yeah. So for me, I am blind. I'm good at that.
While life may be challenging for the visually impaired, friends, family, and loved ones help in easing their day-to-day lifestyles. This, at times, has taken an extremely personal toll on friends, family, and loved ones.
When I first realized the turning point for Marlon losing his sight was when I placed my daughter in bed. She is 5 now, but at the time she was about 6 months. I placed on the bed right beside him, and all I heard was boop. Ran into the room and I realized, Maya's on the floor. She's crying. So I asked Marlon immediately, what happened? And he told me, he just saw a figure. He didn't know it was his daughter that rolled off of the bed. So I was like, oh my God, right? And from that day forward, he started to, instead of progress positively, he started to regress. And he started to bump into things. And, there were nights, there were days that he will lying right beside me and I used to literally cry softly. I used to muffle my tears because I could not cope because, we were married, we were young, and, there weren't support. As we didn't know that we had support. So we eventually turned to the church and we turned to our pastors, God bless their heart, and they motivated us. We motivated ourselves, and I told Marlon, I said, listen to me. We started to blame God at a point in time, and then we realized that this doesn't make sense. Maybe God has a purpose, God has a reason, and as the years went by, we both realized that God does things to help us grow. Nothing happens by chance, and all things work together for good. And he is able now, being totally blind, he has 2 children, one on the way, and he's able to positively motivate other people. He goes in churches, he goes in schools, and he positively motivates people. Blindness, I'm telling you, blindness doesn't mean that your life is over, but you can positively influence others.
Visually impaired does not mean life impaired. Cooking, cleaning, and daily routine tasks can be done independently.
Basically, you just have to know your kitchen. It's kind of hard to operate in a strange kitchen for the first time with no vision. So I kind of get an idea of where everything is. I may not be able to see everything, but I can surely find everything.
Active lifestyles, cricket, horseback riding, judo, powerlifting, athletics, swimming, you name it, it can be done by the visually impaired. This is the blind way forward.
Hi, my name is Marlon and I am totally blind. I am married. I have 2 children. One is 11 going on 12 and the other is 5 going on 45 because she feels that she's in control of the whole house. I'm a regular person, just like you. The only difference is I can't see. In 2011, I went to the ophthalmologist and I was diagnosed with glaucoma. It was advanced and it was aggressive. The sad thing is that when you go and you get that diagnosis of doom, as I called it, is that the hospital does not really give you anything as it relates to coping with your blindness. And I can't really blame them because their issue is trying to, for want of a better word, fix you. And if they can't fix you, then they don't know the next step. I was told that I was legally blind, that Even if I did the surgery, I wouldn't get back any of my usable vision at all. So that was the problem. The reason that was a problem is because I was, and I still am, a serving member of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Now back then, I thought, I have to lose my job. You understand? So you would imagine that when I first got that blow, I stood up in front of the hospital and I cried like I didn't cry like a baby. I cried like a grown man. Yes, I stood there and I cried because I thought that would have been the end. The problem with blindness in general, especially in this country, is that there's a lot of stigmas attached to blindness. So I thought I'd have to leave my job. My daughter was probably a couple of months old, and I thought, how am I gonna take care of my family? How am I gonna operate? How am I gonna cope? How am I gonna do things normally? Well, my wife is gonna look at me different. She's gonna have 3 dependents now because she have to take care of me and the 2 children. I even thought that my wife was gonna leave me. You understand? There's all these questions bound around in my head because I did not have the information that was necessary. The problem with blindness in this country is not necessarily lack of vision. It's lack of information. So when I got the referral letter to go to the Blind Welfare Association of Trinidad and Tobago, my initial thing was, no, I'm not going there. I am not going to be making baskets for the rest of my life. I did not know that the Blind Welfare Trinidad and Tobago offered a bit more than that. And there's a friend of mine at work who told me, listen, here this going on. I have a cousin who works there. And I said, well, cool. Part of my job spec is writing reports to using the computer. And he told me, listen, you can learn how to use a computer as a blind person. And I told him, you have to be going crazy. Blind people can't use computers. Blind people can't use phones. What nonsense you tell them about? Well, up until this day, I have 3 computers. Well, actually 4. Plus phones and iPads and everything in between. Because I got the information that was necessary. Now the technology is good. But I mean, if you're not that much into technology, that's okay. If you're into reading, there are things for that. But in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, the most important thing is for you to be as mobile as possible. If it is you are in your home and you are staying home because you are afraid to leave, you are not living in a home, you are living in a prison. The fear in your mind is a lot greater than the danger that actually exists. You're afraid of things that don't even exist. And which is one of the major things with respect to this, to kicking this thing, to beating these things. You need to get rid of your fear. It's going to be hard, it's going to be long for some, it's going to be short for some. I'm not going to say that you want to be like me and learn to cope in a year or 6 months, but it will bode you well to cope. When I started being mobile on my own, I started moving around and I don't have to spend a whole lot of money to travel from one place to the next. I started learning other things. I started to learn to cook. I started to learn to clean, to sweep a place, to iron. And I am very happy that now, when I initially thought that my wife would have been doing all the work, I am contributing just like how I would have contributed from before. You understand? When the time to carry the children to school, sometimes I carry them to school. I will have my kid in one hand, I'll have my daughter in the other hand, and we go into school. And who don't like it could lie down by it because I am her dad. And if I feel like carrying her to school, I'll carry her to school. The project The Blind Way Forward was developed because I formed the opinion that people need the information at the point of where they got the diagnosis. You don't want to wait a long period of time in order to get the information that you need. Do you understand? So what we intend to do is this particular program will give you all the information that you need. Every excuse that you can come with why you can't do something, we're going to show you, listen, you can do it. And I'm hoping that the sighted relatives of the blind person looking at this video will understand that they have a role to play as well. The blind person who have the sighted relatives needs to understand that your sighted relatives are going through some stuff too. Because you are going through your blindness, but your sighted relatives have to see you go through it. And it's hard. It's hard for them as well. So once it is, you get the information. You come together and you work together to help both the blind individual and the sighted person. And they start to gel. You get the information that you need. and then they will not have a problem. You go to these places like Pavi, you go to these places like Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare, they will teach you these things. You have to make the conscious decision to want to learn. I thank you so much for having this video. The fact that you have this video and you're looking at it or you're listening to it, that means you want to change. And that's the first step into reaching the stage that you want to get. Thank you very much. So I'm glad we could have a little chat and I could explain you, a little bit now. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, see you later.
Yeah, man.
Sorry. Right. And whoever pick out our glasses for you, the blind.
What chunk?
That's a joke.
What chunk is this? You easy.
It's a joke, right? And yes, visually impaired people or blind people have a sense of humor.
Yes, we do. Let me talk.
Yeah.